Hi, Chef Ryan Phillips here. There is a sweet treat from the old days that has been gaining recent popularity with Korea's younger generation. It's kind of like a donut, but it uses more sticky rice flour than wheat flour, so it's nice and chewy. That is Gaeseong Juak. So Gaeseong Juak is a lot like a donut, but rather than using so much wheat flour, it uses a lot of sticky rice or glutinous rice flour. So it gets really nice and chewy. So we're gonna start with a large bowl, and it is kind of important to measure things out today. So I've got 120 grams of sticky rice flour. Only about 30 grams of wheat flour, and that is all-purpose wheat flour. 20 grams of white sugar, and just about a teaspoon of salt. This right here is makgeolli, and it is a slightly alcoholic beverage made from fermented rice. And this is gonna add some live probiotic life into our dough here. This has natural yeast in it because it is a seng makgeolli, or a fresh live makgeolli. We only need just about a tablespoon for the right ratio for our dough here. Now, I want to just, with my hands, mix this up just a bit. The yeast in this fresh makgeolli is now going to eat the rice flour and the wheat flour here and release a gas while cooking, which is going to help these donuts puff up. If you don't have fresh makgeolli, don't worry. You could use just a little bit of yeast or another leavener. Even the steam from water will help make them puff. We need that hot water because cold water will make starch seize up. And we need that starch to be like loose and ready to get nice and smooth dough. So little by little, you're gonna add a tablespoon at a time here. Then give it a mix. So slowly but surely, as you mix in a tablespoon at a time, it's gonna start to come together. Once you feel like you can make it into a ball, you're almost there. Definitely don't add so much water to where it's gonna start getting sticky. You want it to be fairly dry to where you can knead this without it coming off so much on your hands. Now, a little test you can do to see if you've got enough moisture is just take a piece about this big and roll it into a ball. If, after you get it into a ball, you see a lot of lines or cracks, say you press down. If you see a lot of cracks, then you need a little bit more water. So just add another tablespoon, knead it again, and see if it fixes the problem. All right, let's take this over to the board for a bit. You ought to knead it for at least about 5 minutes. We're gonna break this into about 25 gram balls here. Now, for this next step, I want you to take these and just make a little divot right like that in each one. So with your chopstick, make a hole right through the center and just slowly make it a little bit bigger. We're going for maybe 2 millimeters in diameter. Why do we do this? This is gonna even up the cooking so that the heat passes through the center of it, making it all get done at the same time. All right, we're gonna let these rest for about 20 minutes. So grab some cellophane. We do not want them to dry out while we're working on a sauce here or glaze. So cover them up. There we go. while these are resting, we're gonna make like a glaze for our donuts. And that's gonna start with this. It's a rice syrup. If you cannot find rice syrup, don't worry. You can use maybe corn syrup or honey, but those are gonna be a little bit sweeter. What's nice about this is it's thick and it's shiny, but it's not super, super sweet. So let's start with 100 milliliters of our rice syrup. And then I've got a few slices of ginger. We're gonna let this ginger flavor cook into this rice syrup. And just about 30 milliliters of water. Once this starts to warm up, we're gonna make sure that water incorporates into all that rice syrup. And we'll get this to start bubbling, a little bit of caramelization, getting a little sticky, and we'll stop it right there. All right, you'll know when you've got it right where it needs to be. There it is. Okay, watch this. So, as it cools slowly, it'll stop dripping. And now we know it's sticky enough to make a glaze for our donuts. Let's set this aside and start making our donuts. I've got probably about 1 liter of corn oil in here. We're gonna get this up to temperature, and you really ought to have a thermometer now. High heat for now, but we're only trying to get to 120 degrees centigrade. And then after they start to float up to the top, we can crank the heat up to about 150, 160 and continue frying. Yeah, okay, 120 degrees centigrade. And these have rested now for 20 minutes. We're gonna drop them all in. Now you're not gonna see a whole lot of bubbling right away, don't worry. This is important. It'll be about 5 minutes before they start to float. So just be patient. Trust me, it's worth it. If you try to do it too fast, it's not gonna work. They'll be cooked too much on the outside, but not done on the inside. All right, these are starting to float now. It's been 5 minutes. So I'm gonna get my temperature up. Maybe up to a medium is all we're gonna need. We're just trying to get to 150, 160 degrees centigrade for another maybe 6, 7 minutes, and these will get nice and golden brown. All right, look at this lovely golden brown. That tells me we've got a nice kind of crunchy or crispy exterior. We're going straight into our ginger rice syrup. Just want to turn these just to coat a little bit. All right, time to garnish some of these up. First, we're gonna do traditional style. I have a Korean daechu or jujube. Slice off one side of it. And then we're gonna try to make kind of a stem out of this. Take our little stem of daechu or jujube. And then a couple of these green pumpkin seeds. Can be like the leaves there. Now that is a more traditional variation, but as we mentioned earlier, this has become very popular with the younger generation in Korea. And so we're starting to see all these different topping or garnish variations. So let me show you a couple that we want to try today. This is a Yuja marmalade, a lovely citrus flavor, and that will pair nice with some dried citrus. So let's put this together. All right, so transfer another one of our Gaeseong Juaks over here. A little bit of our Yuja marmalade on top. And then some dried cule, or like a mandarin orange, dehydrated. and dip in our ginger syrup into some white sugar and right on top. And one more here with black sesame and white sesame seeds. That gives a flavor and textural contrast I think you'll really like. All right, now our Gaeseong Juak, or traditional Korean rice donut, is finished. All right, I'm really excited to tell you guys about these, about the way they taste here. I can't think of anything that's just like this. It's got this crunch on the outside, but then that rice flour inside is nice and chewy. Just everything about it. Okay, this is the more traditional one. Let's try our Yuja. Beautiful. Great way to use this on this. There's this lovely bitterness to it. And the sweetness balances that out. And then you still got that crunch.